It is Thursday. It's the 4th of January, 2024. And the big news story today is, as it is almost every day, another big story about the orange antichrists' thievery, grift, stealing, lying, cheating. This time, it's about all the different foreign governments who contributed money to Trump and his filthy two adult sons, both little grifting bastards just like him. Millions Trump got from foreign governments while he was president, which nobody pays any attention to this anymore, certainly not the maggot bastards that run around the country, but that is against the Constitution, the emoluments clause. You're not supposed to do that, Donnie. But you see, the Antichrist doesn't play by any of the rules established in this country to run a democratic republic. He is way above that, as his Christian fascist cult will tell you if you ask. But according to the reports that are circulating all over right now, you probably heard them earlier today, the Antichrist's businesses received almost $10 million from 20 foreign governments during the time he was president. Now, this information comes after a lengthy investigation by House Democrats. The Republicans will not investigate this criminal son of a bitch because they are going to have to serve in his second term. Right? The irony here is that most of the money that the Antichrist received was from China and Saudi Arabia. Now, China, of course, is a country that the Antichrist constantly uses as a reference point when he accuses the Bidens, especially Hunter Biden, of taking illegal payments that was then immediately popped into his dad's account, right? They're both criminals, Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, right? China and Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, the country run by a murderer who not only orders people murdered, but orders them sectioned into chunks so that the chunks are easier to transport, if you get my drift. Now, all of these transactions of this miserable Antichrist bastard are detailed in a 156-page report that's called White House for Sale. No kidding. With the orange Antichrist, everything is for sale. His mother would have been for sale. His old lady is for sale. All his kids are for sale. He doesn't give a shit. The name of the game is if you can't buy it, it doesn't exist. And that also refers to if you can't sell it, it doesn't exist either. But it was produced by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee. And the report provides concrete evidence, not bullshit rumors that the Christian fascists have tried to and been successful, I might add, at circulating about Hunter Biden, but concrete evidence that the Antichrist engaged in the kind of conduct that these Christian fascists in the House have labored to prove that Biden did. Because they're trying to build this impeachment case against Biden. I mean, here it is again. How many times, well, this is a dumbass question. I was going to say, how many times do people have to get the idea that when a crazy, psychotic son of a bitch like Donald Trump accuses somebody of stealing, it's because he's a thief. If he accuses somebody of being a rapist, it's because he's a rapist. I mean, this is how the psychotic mind of some disturbed individual like the Antichrist operates. But here we are again, trying to build an impeachment case against Joe Biden. The Republicans are fully aware of the criminal acts that this miserable Antichrist has perpetrated against the United States, and yet they continue to worship at the feet of this bastard. Look at Tom Cotton. Look at Scalise. Look at these miserable bastards as they cluster at the smelly feet of Donald Trump to worship him. It's just incredible. Anyway, the Democrats on the House Oversight Committee had to go to court to get documents that they include in the report. But the report describes how foreign governments and their entities, that the entities that they control, that these foreign governments control, including a top U.S. adversary. That's what the report says, according to the New York Times. How all these people interacted with Trump businesses while he was president. They paid millions to the Trump International Hotel in D.C., to Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas, Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue, New York, Trump World Tower at UN Plaza in New York. Millions rolled into this grifting son of a bitch, this Antichrist, who is truly the Antichrist. This is not hyperbole that I use in describing this miserable filth. He is the biblically predicted Antichrist. He's here, and the Christian fascists worship him. Oh, my God. Now, today was when the House Democrats made this public. They're trying to establish a counterweight to the Christian fascists' attempt to impeach Joe Biden with their impeachment inquiry. And what they're trying to do, what the Christian fascists in the House are trying to do, is to tie Biden to international business deals by his son Hunter before Joe Biden became president, because the Christian fascists are trying to prove corruption or influence peddling exactly what is at the heart, if there is one, of the Antichrist. This is what he does. This is all he does, is peddle his influence, peddle his filthy name, get involved in corruption. He's a fucking thief, a liar, and a grifter. And the Christian fascists who worship him know that. But they also know that he represents their spear point. They can use Donald Trump to slay anything that's good, decent, constitutional, in the public interest. The Christian fascists know all they have to do is trot out this miserable Antichrist and use him as the battering ram. So they want to keep him. Can't blame them for that, right? Now, the Christian fascists, of course, in their attempt to establish an impeachment hearing, they're at the inquiry level now, they failed to show that the president got anything in any way by any of the transactions that his son was involved in. I don't know what the fuck Hunter Biden did, and neither do you, and it doesn't matter. I mean, Jimmy Carter had a crazy brother. He used to trade with the Libyans. He used to do business with the Libyans when Libya was an enemy of the United States. So what? It had nothing to do with Jimmy Carter. However, with Trump, it has everything to do with Trump. His whole fucking family, including the people who married into it, are corrupt down to the soles of their feet. They're all liars. They're all grifters, especially, but not exclusively, his two miserable rat-faced sons. And then his son-in-law, Kushner. Oh, boy. You talk about somebody willing to deal in blood money. Jared Kushner, who should know better. He's an Orthodox Jew, and he takes billions from the Saudi royal family. And the Saudi royal family would cut his fucking throat in a heartbeat if they knew that they could get away with it. But rather than cut his throat, the way they operate with old Jared is to give him tons of money, assuming correctly that he will use his connection to the Christian Antichrist to get for the Saudi royal family anything and everything they want. And Kushner's been very successful so far, hasn't he? Anyway, Representative Jamie Raskin of Maryland, the top Democrat on the Oversight Committee, in a foreword to this report, he wrote this, quote, "By elevating his personal financial interests and the policy priorities of corrupt foreign powers over the American public interest, former President Trump violated both the clear commands of the Constitution and the careful precedent set and observed by every previous commander-in-chief," end quote. Well, yes, that's absolutely right, Jamie. I'm sorry, Representative Raskin. That's absolutely correct. But you can't compare Trump to every other commander-in-chief. That would be like comparing a flesh-eating, corpse-devouring maggot to a beautiful butterfly. I mean, there's no way to compare Trump to other presidents of the United States because he is truly unique in the fact that he is a lying, filthy, grifting, murderous son of a bitch who doesn't care about the United States one iota. He only cares about himself, even less so about his own corrupt family. But anyway, among the countries that patronized Trump's properties, China made the largest total payment, almost $6 million to his business interests. And those payments included millions of dollars from China's embassy in the United States, the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, and the Hainan Airlines Holding Company. That's according to the New York Times. The second largest contributor to this corrupt, filthy antichrist was Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia shelled out $615,000 at the Trump World Tower and the Trump International Hotel. Now, how about the one of his sons that looks like cat piss would look like if cat piss could walk? That's Eric Trump. Eric has long insisted that, these foreign interests and all this money rolling into his filthy family did not influence his father's presidency one iota, and that any profit that the Trump company earned on the hotel stays was returned to the federal government through a voluntary annual payment to the Treasury Department. Oh, Eric, shut the fuck up and oh my God, crawl back into your cat box. I mean, really, Jesus. Got to stop and take a breath. Let me take a sip of River Moon coffee, please. God, I love this stuff. Now, the Constitution, it's difficult to talk about the Constitution and this filthy family and the Antichrist in the same sentence, but what the hell? The Constitution prohibits a president from accepting money, payments, gifts of any kind, whatever. That's a direct quote from the Constitution, of any kind, whatever, from foreign governments and monarchs, unless the president, again, quoting from the Constitution, obtains the consent of the Congress to do so. And the report from the Democrats notes that the Antichrist never went to Congress to seek their consent. Well, of course, why would they? The Congress to the Antichrist, to Donald Trump, is just a play toy. It's just something that he bounces on his knee every once in a while and hugs when they come up to him to hug him and suck his feet and worship at his throne. That's the Congress to Donald Trump. He doesn't give a shit about these people, except insofar as they worship him and tell the American public what a wonderful, lovely, beautiful leader he really is. And the dirty damn Democrats who are trying to sully our Messiah, the brother of Jesus Christ. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.